What's up, everybody? It's HorrorDeconstruction. You can find us on Tumblr, Twitter, as well as Instagram with your host Comp and
Boobity.
as well as
One.
from horrorharbor.tumblr.com. And today's film is
Critters, 1986.
It's Thea's time of the month, and she wisely gave two of the entries to Danny for some reason. So, Danny, why'd you pick Critters?
No, she picked Critters.
I picked Critters, you ding dong.
Oh, then I guess I was wrong. You know what? I just wanted to point my rage towards Danny. So she picked this piece of this movie.
I did.
Critters, 1986. A group of small, furry aliens make lunch out of the locals in a farming town, directed by Stephen Herrick, written by Dominic Muir, who did the story as well as the screenplay. Why do they have him do both of them? Why would you credit a guy twice for story and screenplay?
I don't know.
Starring
Just to
Dee
mess
Wallace,
with you.
He's that good.
Emmett Walsh, Billy Greenbush, as well as Scott Grimes, who I believe plays Steve in American Dad.
And Billy Zane.
Why did you pick this film, Thea?
Billy Zane was in it.
I picked it because it was one of those 80s movies that I've never seen.
Wow.
And I had always seen the cover of it. Like, I vividly remember the cover of the movie, but I had never seen it. So I had no context for it before going into this movie.
Holy shit.
Here we are.
The latest entry came in 2014. I didn't even know about it. It's called Critters Bounty Hunter.
I didn't either.
Was it like the 20th
and apparently
one?
It's one of those movies that has like 8 sequels apparently that I had no idea.
Is it like I almost want to take a look at the trailer for that. I'm sure it's terrible, but it
I
has
bet
one of
it
those
is.
neon 80s covers, sort of. So I guess maybe they're trying to do the Turbo
Stylize
Kid
it?
hobo with a shotgun. I really hope I just said hobo with a shotgun. I'm very tired.
I mean,
I wouldn't mind watching that other one too. But like I had said before, also, you know, it was weird. I had told you that Go90, the Verizon sort of free streaming network, was going to make a Critters. It was called Critters. Cripes. Critters new something. It was like new batch, not new batch because that's
No, isn't that
Gremlins.
Ghoulies?
Gremlins.
No, that's Gremlins.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like new something about. It's like a word play on food. But Go90 apparently was discontinued by Verizon, so I don't know if the show's still going on. I looked on the director's Twitter, but it didn't seem like they said anything about the show at all. So whatever. Anyway,
That is fascinating.
so Critters, it's weird because I don't think I've ever fully seen Critters. I've seen pieces of it, and I think I have fond memories more of Critters 2, actually, even though I don't think I fully saw that movie either.
Is that the one that's in the spaceship and the guy steals drugs from the prescription lock?
I don't know. I know part
What?
2 has Leonardo DiCaprio and a giant
No, I
critter
think
ball.
it's actually part 3 that has Leo DiCaprio.
Well, there was one
okay.
where they're
think
on
so.
a spaceship and it's like very like serious feeling. You remember? And like one of the guys on the ship is like breaking into the prescription pill area.
I think that was
Good.
Critters 4.
So I don't know if I've ever
with,
seen this one. I didn't remember it.
What's weird is Critters is the first like horror series that I remember that went to space. You know how it was followed by Jason or Leprechaun, then Jason. Then I realized like this at least makes sense that it goes to space where everything else
Yeah,
doesn't.
because they start literally in space, which I did not expect.
It makes no sense.
I know,
for
and
Jason
I'm
to go
pretty
to space.
sure. I think Critters 4 had the the lady who played Tina Turner. I think it's her.
No.
It's like a really good actor in it, and I was like, "What the fuck is she doing in this movie? What is that actress? You know, she's hot. She's like 60 years old, but she's like super beautiful for her age. She's on American Horror Story.
It's Angela
Bassett.
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett, that's right.
Yeah, Angela
I love
Bassett.
her.
Oh my! It even
She
has
was in Critters.
Yeah, Critters 4 has Brad Dourif.
Well, now I need to watch Critters 4.
Danny, Critters 4 has Brad Dourif and Terrence Mann. Wow, that's pretty like.
You know
Anne
what?
Ramsey.
We're gonna have to do the entire Critters series.
Why did I bring
we're
these
gonna have
up?
to do the entire
We're
Critters.
gonna have
Anyway.
to get all the way to 4 so we can judge each one.
Yeah.
Critters has been out for a while, and you can see how this movie is basically a pastiche of every sort of 80s film that had come out. And
It reminded me of Night of the Creeps right away, obviously.
yeah, from the opening, right?
It actually reminded me of. Well, now I'm just blank. It reminded me of like Troll 2 a little bit.
No way. What?
No, just like the
What the
dorky
fuck are you
family and the
smoking?
dorky dad and the little kid. Like,
I mean,
not necessarily their
substantially
acting
better
skills.
actors.
Oh, they're way better actors.
Troll 2 is like 9/12. Okay, it's
No.
terrible.
Troll 2 was like Troll 2 is like a way worse quality movie, but it just reminded me of like that weird cutesy family and they're all like nice to each other. I don't know. And like the
What do you? It's more of a. This movie definitely has like Thea's probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? But this is the family here is more of a Spielbergian type of family, even down to the music.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's definitely more of a Gremlins ripoff, obviously, because I think Gremlins was more of a inspiration for this film. Because I think I was
reading that they were accused of being a Gremlins ripoff, but they had apparently had the script written before Gremlins. So
imagine Joe Dante broke into their studio and stole their script.
Right.
Wait, what did Joe? Oh, right. But I was gonna say, what did Joe Dante have to do with this? But obviously, he was Gremlins. I gotta get off smoking paint.
You got it.
Because I was like, I had said a couple episodes before. I was listening to the episode of Postmortem, detailing the interview with everybody from Critters 2, mostly like the Chiodo brothers. I don't think did the Chiodo brothers have anything to do with Yeah, did the Chiodo brothers have anything to do with the Critters in this one? Because I think they
it said it in the beginning. Yeah,
did they?
I didn't notice that.
It said it, but I think it spelled their names wrong. It said like Chodo instead of Chiodo.
That sounds on brand.
Right?
Yeah, Chode is like a giant dick that's wider.
No. Chode is the location between the genitals and the butthole. It's
so what's a giant dick that's wider than long?
So it's the taint?
No, taint
maybe
is
you're
the
right.
area. Well, there's a few words for that. No, I think a chode is a dick that's wider than it is long.
Yeah, apparently I thought it was like a tiny dick.
Apparently, if you're could be that too.
Yes, I just typed in chode. Urban Dictionary confirms that it is a penis that is wider than the length.
Hold on,
I'm glad we're clearing this up.
Also, just for if you want to have a refractory emission when you're about to ejaculate, you press down on the taint with your 2 fingers before you orgasm, and nothing comes out. Did you?
I have done it, but there's a way to do it right and there's a way to do it wrong. If you do it wrong, it backs up. It
comes out of your ears.
It backs up into your bladder.
You know what I picture? I picture like Tums being dumped into Coca-Cola. Like it looks like that inside your guts.
Inside your balls.
Funny story. Once I was having
little experience with dicks. This is
would be happy. You know, it'd be great if you push the taint when you're about to come, and then the cum reverts back in your balls and grows into an embryo inside your balls.
And then a little version, a little version of you comes out of your eyeballs. That'd be great. Anyway, so God, what a class act show this is. Portia. But anyway, so Critters obviously is a pastiche of all those 80s type of films. And you know what? It's not terrible, but I thought this film was going to be completely different because I have memories more of Critters 2. Critters 2
That's fair.
Took it to much more of an insane level of entertainment. I was surprised at
Was it good?
The thing is, I don't remember seeing the whole film, but I remember the stuff that I did watch. Like, there's a sequence where all the critters jump together and become a giant sort of what is that like ball and like
a rat woods? King?
Ball in the woods.
I'm sorry, in the country, like a hairball, giant hairball sort of thing. What are those things called?
The hay.
Tumbleweeds. I'm sorry. So yeah, a bunch of. I'm not from the fucking country, all right. So the critters all come together and make a giant sort of ball, and then they roll over this guy, and he's like a skeleton.
Ball. Right.
It's pretty awesome. So it has like stuff like that. But anyway, this one, why don't you lay the groundwork of what happens there?
Well, off the top, we start in an alien spaceship. How could you not have fun doing this show? It's a meteor that's carrying a prison, which is holding the critters, which they call Krites. Which is very confusing. And basically, they get loose and they steal a spaceship and they get to Earth.
What are these coppers upset about? There's crimes. There's crimes afoot.
I did like it. I didn't expect it because, again, I had no context for what actually happens in these movies.
Yeah, it gets really silly sci-fi in the beginning of the movie.
I didn't realize it was that much of a sci-fi in the beginning.
I was kind of impressed by, I was just like, oh, we're going full, alien species.
Yeah.
Weird, shapeshifter beings.
I mean, that's
the
what
lady,
I like.
The mom was actually, she's been in a bunch of shit. She was in E.T. though.
No, it was a pretty interesting
and Cujo
beginning.
And they even have M. Emmett Walsh, who's a serious actor. He's one of those good old Southern boys. He's really good. He obviously sleptwalked through this movie, but he was funny just for what he did in the movie.
He's the cop,
the sheriff. Yeah, the sheriff. Yeah. And I always thought in this movie, for some reason, I don't know why that rocker looked so familiar to me. Maybe in hindsight, because he always looked somewhat familiar, but I didn't know who. And he sort of looks like House.
It looks like every person.
A little bit. He also looked vaguely
Tim Curry.
a little Tim Curry.
No,
but
it
with
wasn't
your
Tim
hair.
Curry.
No,
Yeah, that's why I said he looked
young
like
Tim
it.
Curry. Agreed. I said that while I was watching it.
Oh, good, Johnny Steele, Terrence Mann. Oh, he was an actual singer.
Oh, Terrence Mann.
Wait, Terrence Mann was that young in this movie?
I have
Terrence?
no idea.
Holy shit, Terrence Mann was like actually. Wait, let
Who
me
the
see.
fuck is Terrence Mann?
His name was Ugg.
He's in a lot of stuff. No, he was in. I guess the most people would know him is from like Phantom Menace. He was one of the chancellors. Listen, out of all those movies,
I
that was the
repressed
best.
every memory of that.
Wow, it's weird because if you look at Terrence Mann now, I think you would like. Well, would you remember what he looks like? No, I'm thinking of somebody else. Anyway,
Apparently, he was in Cats, so that's cool.
He's
I
in
guess.
Finding Neverland.
also Lin Shaye is in this. The lady, the psychic
Yeah.
lady
Oh
from.
my god! I recognized her, and I was like, "Who is that?" And then I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't recognize her without white hair."
The psychic lady from that Insidious movie?
Yes, from
Yes.
Insidious.
Oh, wow.
And Dead End.
And it's funny because she's actually, I think she's the sister of the guy who owned New Line Cinema, so I don't think she'd ever have to worry about working.
And
for
Nightmare on
films.
Elm Street.
But she's
still awesome. I
Yeah,
love
she's
her.
legitimately a good actor, so it's a good thing that she did have connections.
And she lends her acting to a lot of horror movies, which is nice because
Good
she's
for her.
And
actually
it's a funny,
decent.
yeah. In the Critters podcast episode, Critters 2 podcast episode of Postmortem, she talks about how she hates horror films, but she likes being in them. So it's sort of
Are
weird.
you promoting
weird.
another podcast in front
I
of me
love
right
that
now?
podcast. Well, nobody listens to
Cheater.
this, so might as well listen to a good one. Also, obviously, like you said, Billy Zane is in this, and
Yes.
it's interesting
For like
to
10
see
minutes.
what his.
Before he becomes a demon. A demon
Demon
knight.
Knight.
And then he moves on to a giant ship, and he gets cuckolded by Leonardo DiCaprio.
And then he, visits the town of Twin Peaks.
And then he also
That's right.
fucks Nicole Kidman on a boat after he thinks he killed her husband, and they shoot him in the face with a flame gun.
Okay, and then he also
I have
hangs out
no
with
idea
Ben
what
Stiller
you're
in
talking about.
Zoolander.
We're trying to list off Billy Zane movies to beat me. You've seen
Okay,
more Billy
what-
Zane movies than I have.
Wait, what was the one where he's married? Never mind. I
Okay,
don't
it's
need
a
to know.
movie with
fine.
Sam. Okay, let me give a little credit. Sam Neill is married to Nicole Kidman. Billy Zane comes on like he's been in a shipwreck. He thinks he kills Sam Neill. Then he gets to fuck Nicole Kidman,
Good
and then
for
Nicole
him.
kills him. Nicole Kidman kills him with a flare gun to the face. It's a great movie. I forgot the name of that movie, but it also makes
After
me
he
jealous.
fucked her? That seems like mean.
Yeah, but I guess,
Yeah.
but it's one of those weird rapo movies because she sort of had to give it up to him because she was so scared of him, but she wanted to make him think that. All right,
Oh,
that's
okay.
another movie.
Sounds like Cape Fear. Anyway, let's just not.
Cape Fear is a great movie.
Dead Calm is that movie. Anyway,
All right.
so Critters. What did you guys like about this film? Because I thought it was okay. I didn't think there was anything
It was
super
kinda fun.
spectacular about it. It is
No.
fun, but I noticed like I thought it was going to be all around the town. It mostly just stuck to
Right.
this one house. And I think
Yeah.
they obviously didn't have a budget to have a lot of critters in it. Like the second one had more critters in it, but they still had to like not use that. They couldn't like blow. One of the discussions about the second film was that they couldn't blow up a lot of the critters in the first one because they literally only had like 9 or 10 critters. So the
Right.
part where the
Right.
critter,
Well,
where the
and
critter,
they don't really reveal them until at least halfway through the movie in the first one. So.
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely a low budget movie.
Yeah.
And you could tell it is, but I think it's fun. It's got that fun 80s character sort of vibe. I love it.
you could see when they first try to blow up the first critter. You know how he makes him eat that M80, and he just
Yeah.
doesn't blow up. They did that like stylistically so they couldn't get rid of a dummy like one of the puppets because they were that
Yeah.
poor making the film. That was so funny about it.
They were like, we can't do that.
Yo, but seriously, the Chiodo brothers, or however you say their name.
Chiodos.
Chiodo, whatever. They're so good.
Are
Like,
they making another Killer Clowns or not?
I've been
Yeah, when
hearing
is that
that for like the
happening?
last 10
They've
years.
talked about it for fucking ever.
I heard there's going to be a
and
TV show or something. Like,
Yeah.
Yo,
They
I would
just
love
recently
it.
said that they were. I just saw a recent a thing about it online. It said, "Oh, we've got some serious news about Killer Clowns." And I'm like,
Fucking every
Fucking
couple of years
release
they
it.
always
the
say
interesting thing though is that you know how Universal Studios has every Halloween they have those weird Halloween what the hell is it called? Uniscare Skull, some shit like that.
Okay.
Whatever, they have that horror shit with all the horror houses and all that stuff. Listen, my brain is like half gone.
He's really articulate today.
I have
Everything
horrible-
he's saying makes perfect sense.
Danny actually knows what's going on with me right now, so I can't joke about
Aw.
it. But they actually have a little town of killer clowns from outer space. They actually have them all like actually guys dressed up as killer clowns.
I
with,
would
yeah, you can see. You
die.
can find it on YouTube. It's great. It's like it's recent.
Wow,
it's in
I
this
would go
year's
there in a
version.
heartbeat.
But anyway, there's not really much you can talk about this film. Like, it does have that sort of little kid thing where the little kid is a hero, but it's sort of a soft,
but also
R-rated
kind of
film.
not.
It's like Lassie.
Okay.
I feel like the characters
cat, right?
were. If you compare it to, and like obviously it's compared to Gremlins a lot. If you compare it to a thing like Gremlins has more like character work.
Yeah.
Where they actually have like distinguished reasons for the characters and the way they are.
They had like
Right.
Jim
In this
Henson
movie, it's
and
kind
shit.
of just like we took character archetypes and grafted them onto this movie, and so they work, but they're not interesting necessarily. They're just kind
they're
of
all
there,
sort of
and they're
flat.
functional.
I mean, the
but
only
it's kind of
interesting
boring.
characters
Yeah.
here are obviously probably the little kid and the bounty hunters,
Right.
because they're so weird that they're. It seems like they're ripped out of a weird John Carpenter film and put
Or like
into
a
this
comic
movie.
book. Yeah.
Right. They're really
Yeah.
flat. So if this was a comic book, it'd be great. But as a film, it's sort of okay.
They
but
did
it's
some great
still-
effects though with that house at the end.
Yeah, no,
like,
there's
that
really
was-
cool effects.
That
in
was
it.
fucking awesome. Like they should have put some of that budget into the fucking more critters.
But
Well,
that
the
was-
critters themselves in the scenes they're in look fine. Like they do fine for what an '80s movie is.
They're
like,
very
kind of
stiff, though,
goofy
yeah.
and silly, but like
I was into the
I think
big
it worked
one.
well
That was
enough.
cool.
yeah.
I was also impressed that the poster just has a critter right in the poster. Like usually they'll try to hide that.
Yeah.
But it's just like
Well,
a big
especially because
fat-
they hide it for half the movie.
And the
hide
design of
what
the
they actually look like.
yeah, the design of the critter himself is sort of like it's such an 80s design. It's not even funny because it's like a very simple looking character, but it's like totally airbrushed on the poster and you're like,
It's
oh, this looks
literally
like
a
metal
tribble
cover.
with teeth.
Like I
Yeah.
I know the look of the critters so much, but like I don't think I've ever seen the first one. I've seen
Yeah,
like
same.
random
Yeah.
other ones.
That was why I wanted to watch it because I was like, I've seen the poster of the first movie, the second movie, the third movie a million times.
There's,
but I've never seen the movie.
There was this
Yeah.
thing when I was a kid. I think it was called like Monster in My Pocket or something.
Oh, the toy line?
Yeah, this toy line. It kind of look at this. I had a giant. There was a giant one I had. It was like a blue monster monkey thing, and it had handcuffs on it, and like I don't remember, but it kind of looked like a critter.
Wait, you're talking about My Pet Monster?
My Pet
Are you
Monster,
talking about my
maybe?
secret
Yeah.
sex monster?
Danny, did you know that they made a My Pet Monster the movie, and I was the only person who probably saw that film?
No.
Oh god.
Yeah, and My Pet Monster, which was fucking bullshit, because My Pet Monster was My Pet Monster was like a version of My Buddy. It was like a
Right.
monster version of it. Basically, it was like this multicolored. It looked like
Yeah. Oh no, it is. It's My Pet Monster. That's exactly what I had. He has the handcuffs and everything.
he looks like a weird polka dot version of Mike from what the hell is that Disney Pixar movie Monsters Inc. He looks like
He's
that.
like a blue gorilla with horns.
love that
And
movie.
listen to this bullshit. In the movie, the kid finds a My Pet like a statue of that monster, and he turns into the monster. So it's not like him and the monster running around. He just turns into the monster. So I was like watching that, going, "This is fucking bullshit." Thank you for your time. Anyway,
Yes. I think
So
we
a lot
should
of-
boycott it.
on IMDb, we're trying to fill out at least 10 minutes in this fucking
Yep.
movie. But there's not much to say. With this movie, what they when it says more like this on IMDb, it says like obviously the Critters films and the Blob and the Killer Clowns from Outer Space, like we just spoke about, Ghoulies,
I think a Ghoulies.
Night of the Creeps, and
It
House.
fits into a context of those movies, like
Definitely,
well.
it's
So,
like
if
But
you're
straight
doing
to
Night of the
video.
Creeps
Ghoulies
movies, it
sucks
works.
though.
Yeah, Ghoulies 2 is terrible, but
I haven't seen
entertaining at
Ghoulies.
least. You don't
It's
want to
hor-
bother.
No, it's horrible, man. It's not even entertaining.
It's
Yeah.
pretty terrible. But yeah, this definitely fills that 80s sort of straight to video, which is an inoffensive sort of film.
It's cute.
What do you guys think is the worst aspect of the film for you, Thea?
I don't know. Actually, I think it's probably just the writing. In fact, like in the fact that they don't really give the characters anything interesting to do. It's just kind of like, well, what does this teenage girl character usually do in a movie? Well, it's like
She did
make out with her
absolutely
boyfriend in
nothing
a
in this
barn,
film, yeah.
and like,
I wanna
and then
fuck
like,
Billy Zane in a bar.
yeah, and then be like, hey, brother, you go save the day. Like they give the characters not much to do, really.
That's true.
So
I'm a girl,
except for the
and I
bounty
have
hunters, I think
hormones,
were the only
and I want to have
real-
sex with Billy Zane.
You sure
I
that's
think
not
the
from the
bounty hunters
fucking
were the only
Exorcist?
different kind of element.
Danny, what about you?
I
That's
think
great.
they needed more. They needed. Hey, I think they needed more critters. more budget, unfortunately.
I think the storyline's kind of flat, but visually it looks good. I mean, it doesn't look. The only cheap thing is when you see a critter on a staircase, and then you can tell it's a guy under the fucking stair just moving. Because they have absolutely no articulation in their bodies. They just sort of turn left and right, which is fine because they're little.
They needed to get
just
Jim
balls of
Henson
fur.
and Frank
Yeah,
Oz on it.
Jim Henson would have made that shit dope as fuck. But anyway.
That's right.
The best part's obviously the aesthetic of the film looks good. Has a good that ending, the house building itself back was like
That's cool,
Spielberg for sure. But I like the movie overall. I didn't go crazy over it, but it's been a lot better than the recent pieces of shit I've seen.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's a straight to video movie that you just watch on a Saturday night if you're not fucking somebody. Which is I think
it would be a good thing to fuck somebody too. To be honest,
okay,
You can do both at the same time.
could you imagine? And then the person you're fucking rolls up in a ball and rolls away.
And then bites you with their tiny teeth.
And shoots like those poison
Darts
spines out of
into
her fucking vagina.
Oh my god, I forgot about the darts. That was weird.
Thea, what rating would you give this movie?
I'm gonna give it 80% talking about taint and also airing
tasty.
grievances about monster things that I don't actually know what you're talking about out of 10.
Canadian.
Remember, everybody, even if you're fully washed, the taints can be very salty. I give this movie about a 7 is 6 out of 10.
It's fun.
Fun. 6 out of 10 being an old fuck sheriff that doesn't want to deal with anything, but you got to deal with fucking space aliens. They're even worse than the illegals, right, fellas? Maja.
Oh, boy.
Maja. Danny, what's your rating?
Everybody. I give this a 7.3 out of 10. Coming from
Somebody's making up for something.
from outer space and deciding to shapeshift your face into an 80s icon because you saw him on TV.
And you want to make yourself really obvious.
It's really good, huh?
Thea, what's the final word?
Gin.
Danny, what's the final word?
Matzo ball soup, y'all.